town square. The people have a voice too.
I think it's awful. I don't think you need them. I think it's awful. I don't need them in town.
And they fucking rip all the fucking flowers off the casket. He fucking pops the latch, pops open the fucking casket top, and there's Tommy laying there, dead, obviously. But he grabs fucking Lenny and he drags him like this, right over to the fucking casket. He lifts him up and he puts him right in the casket with him. All right, guys, how you doing again? Listen. This is, I tell this story, this is a really fucked up story. I got a lot of people, my friends, who really don't want me to tell this story because it's kind of like a sad story, but it's there's always a lesson to be learned. And my friend, Tommy, I have two friends, Tommy and Lenny. Lenny was the lucky guy, my friend Tommy was a loser, but he was a good guy, okay? He always came off the short end of things, but he was always a great athlete. Growing up, he was a great athlete. He could fight like you wouldn't believe. He was a pretty good bodybuilder. Everything, you know, he did was good like that, but he had problems with drugs, okay? Lenny is a true story. One time, I remember when they were kids, they used to brag about this all the time, Tommy and Lenny. Tommy always used to tell this story about how when they were younger, Lenny went fishing. He gets this brand new lure, and look at his lure. He catches big bass. He cast it out, comes back, giant bass, like this, record bass, right? Gets it on a hook, fucking breaks off the line. He loses his lure. This is Lenny. They go fishing again the next day. Lenny this time he uses live bait, a worm. First cast, motherfucker, guess what? He caught that bass with the lure still in his mouth. Swear to God, true story. All right? That's how lucky this guy was. Tommy, not so lucky. Tommy went to jail for Lenny. They were the best of friends. They grew up like brothers. Tommy was my boy. He was really close with my partner, Frank. Tommy was doing a lot of like cocaine and stuff. He used to do a lot of drugs and everything. And you know, he was involved with Lenny, and Lenny became a big drug dealer, made a lot of money, you know, was almost like a wise guy, you know. And Tommy took a bid for him. Actually went to jail for something, you know. Well, let's just say it was a drug related, okay? So Tommy did like 5 years in jail for Lenny. And Lenny always promised, when you get out, I'm gonna take care of you. He took care of him, all right. He gave him a job. You know what job he gave him? Fucking deliver. Tommy would deliver cocaine, the same fucking thing he was addicted to another drug dealer. Thugs, you know, street thugs. So that's just what Tommy needed, right? So when Tommy gets out of jail, he gets hooked on drugs, and now he's a full-fledged coke addict. So now his wife, Lisa, who has a little baby girl, you know, tells him, I want to get a divorce, or, you know, or clean up your act, or I'm going to get a divorce, right? You know, they kind of separated. So my friend Frank comes up from Florida, takes Tommy back with him, gets him, cleaned him up, gets him back in the gym. He's bodybuilding, he's getting jacked, you know, taking a little bit of juice and everything, but he cleaned up his act. No more coke, no more nothing. Comes back up to New York, he's doing really well, gets back with his wife, has another baby with his wife, doing great, hasn't really talked with Lenny, gets a little bit of trouble with his job, you know, so he loses his job. He was driving a truck. So what do you think he does? He calls up Lenny. Lenny gets him back involved with drugs. This time, it's heroin. So now he's taking fucking heroin. Sure enough, he's a drug addict again. His wife tells him, this is it. No more, I'm done with you. That's it. Frank comes back up, brings Tommy back down. And, you know, Tommy calls Lenny and says, Lenny, I need money, please. I want to go into a rehab. My wife's leaving me and all this shit. Lenny don't answer his calls. Lenny wants nothing to do with him. The wife calls him, they're down in Florida, he's with my friend Frank, and the wife calls him, and the wife tells him, listen, I filed for divorce papers. I met somebody else, and I think I'm gonna move on in life. So my boy Frankie's outside, he's talking with his brother outside the house, and son of a bitch, he hears a loud bang. He runs in his house. There's blood coming from under the door of the bathroom. My friend Tommy put a gun to his head and blew his face off. So now, Tommy's dead. Frank calls me up, he's crying, he's freaking out. Tommy's dead, bro, fucking Tommy's dead. That cocksucker Lenny got him fucking hooked on drugs. He's a fucking heroin addict, the wife left him, he's dead, bro, he's dead. So they bring Tommy's body up. We go now to the wake, and there's closed casket, okay? Because blew his face off, basically, right? No sign of Lenny, nothing, right? Now we go to the wake, and when we get to the wake, we go to the funeral, which is the cemetery, right? You know, we're at the cemetery. They put the casket over the fucking, on those things, that bracket. Everybody grabs a flower, the priests are saying stuff. And we're over there, and one of the guys who's a gravedigger, they all know my boy Gary, right? My friend Gary that was with us, and they call over Gary. Gary comes over, says something to Frank, and Frank comes over to me, and he hands me a gun, and he says, he just says, hold this. I knew what was going to happen. I knew what that meant. That meant those guys, one of the gravediggers that we know, the bodybuilder, they all know Gary, they went to jail with him. They told him on the deal that they got wind that, what's his name, Lenny is coming to the, is coming to the graveyard. He's gonna come to the funeral. So all of a sudden, we see 3 guys with suits and ties, and one's Lenny. And he's got these 2 big fucking momos with him, like bodyguards, like thugs, you know what I mean? Trying to play mafia guy, trying to play like a tough guy and shit, with these 2 assholes with him. So Frank is sitting next to Lisa, the wife, and everybody's now putting the flowers on a casket, and Tommy's mother, his family, they're all there, right? Everybody, they put the flowers on the casket, and Lisa is just sitting there. The mother walks away with the kids. Lisa's sitting there with Frank, and Frank's just staring like a dog at Lenny. Lenny's not looking at Frank. He's just standing with the dogs playing, I'm gonna wait till everybody, walks away type shit, you know what I mean? He goes over, takes a flower out of the bucket, puts it on the casket. Well, those 2 big momos are standing there. And I go over, and I kind of move next to the momos, right? And Frank is sitting next to Lisa. And Gary starts coming over towards Frank. And Lenny leans over and he kisses Lisa to tell her he's sorry about Lenny. And when he kisses her, she spits in his face. So now he backs up like this. At that very moment, my boy Gary, he carries his little rope with these 2 things, and he fucking puts it behind his neck, and he pulls it. Frank jumps up and starts beating him. At the same time, I put the gun to the 2 momos who, the gravedigger guys that went to jail with Gary, both pulled him, put the shovels up under the neck and had them like this and pulled him right down to the ground. There's blood everywhere. He beat him to a pulp, to a fucking pulp. Frank gets up, and him and Gary go over, and they fucking rip all the fucking flowers off the casket. He fucking pops the latch, pops open the fucking casket top, and there's Tommy laying there, dead, obviously. But he grabs fucking Lenny, and he drags him like this, right over to the fucking casket. He lifts him up, and he puts him right in the casket with him. Like half in, half out. He's like hanging like this. And he's pushing his face. And he's going, look at what you did! Look what you did! That was supposed to be your brother! You motherfucker! He was telling him, that's your brother! That's what you fucking did that to him! And he was going crazy, and he was smashing his face like this off Tom. So we had to run over. Gary ran over and fucking pulled him off. And finally, Frank's in a frenzy. He's in a fucking frenzy now. He rips the fucking whole casket off the fucking thing. He pulls the fucking grate off, and he pushes fucking Lenny right in the hole. And he starts kicking the dirt in. You motherfucker! At this point, Lenny can't even move. He's basically not unconscious, but fucking semi-conscious. Because he beat the shit out of him. There's blood everywhere. There's blood all over fucking Tommy. I fucking just got up. Those fucking momos weren't gonna do shit. I ran over there. We closed the casket really fast, okay? We were freaking out. Lisa's freaking out. It was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling, okay? Let me tell you something. Woo! Life isn't always fair. Sometimes things happen and we don't get to choose the paths that we must walk in life, okay? But we do get to choose the way we walk that path. Lenny walked his path the way he wanted. Tommy, he didn't walk his path right. He had chances. You know, I love him, I miss him. This was a very long time ago. But it just goes to show you how some fucking people get lucky and some people just got a bad fucking streak of bad luck follows them. Just bad choices. And to tell you the truth, Lenny is gone. We don't know where, I heard he lives in Costa Rica. He's married now, but he's done with that fucking business. And if it wasn't for Frank, well, shit, if it wasn't for us stopping Frank, he probably would have been dead. He would have been in the hole with Tommy. But anyway, that's what happens when you got friends that betray you, okay? That's what happens when you keep making wrong choices. Sometimes God gives you a chance, you blow that chance. You get a second chance, you blow that second chance. Tommy was a great guy, just made bad choices. So I hope you guys make better choices, and I hope you learn a lesson from this.